Chosen one, you are drawing so close to a new version of yourself that when you look back, you will be astonished that you lived within your former limitations for so long. I am speaking to you now because this transformation is no longer a distant promise or something existing only in your imagination. It has already begun through the small choices you make in silence, through the moments when you no longer respond as you once did, and through the times when you pause before allowing fear to decide for you. You may not yet recognize the full extent of the change, because a profound process often begins quietly, but every part within you is being rearranged. The way you see life is changing. The way you see yourself is being healed. And the things that once caused you to bow your head are gradually losing their authority. You are no longer called to live as someone who waits for the permission of others before daring to move forward. I am leading you back to the clarity that was once hidden beneath years of pain, doubt, and self-diminishment. I saw the burdens you carried, but could not explain to anyone. There were days when you continued doing everything as usual while inwardly struggling against hundreds of questions, and nights when you searched for a reason to keep believing, even though every visible sign told you to stop. You once believed those days merely drained your strength, but in truth, they were building within you a rare endurance. Every time you fell and rose again, you learned that strength does not mean never becoming tired. It means knowing how to return to peace after being shaken. Every time you were misunderstood, yet preserved integrity, you became freer from the need to explain yourself to everyone. Every time you walked past a closed door without allowing bitterness to possess your heart, you moved closer to the person I am forming. The former version of you believed that you had to please everyone in order to deserve love. You remained silent before things that caused you pain because you feared losing a relationship. You accepted less than you deserved because you thought you could not expect more. And you turned away from dreams simply because certain people could not see your ability. But, my beloved, those days are receding. You are learning how to love without abandoning yourself. How to be considerate without compromising with what is wrong. And how to listen to counsel without giving outside voices complete authority over your future. This growth may cause some people to say that you have changed, but what they are truly noticing is that guilt, fear, and the need for acceptance can no longer control you as easily. I want you to release the old image of yourself that you have carried for too long. You are no longer helpless before every circumstance, nor are you defined by past failures. What happened was only part of the journey. It was never your final identity. There were choices you made before you possessed enough understanding, places where you remained too long because you feared leaving, and people you trusted even though they did not know how to value your sincerity. Forgive yourself for the days when you did not yet know how to protect your heart. You do not need to keep using those mistakes to punish your future. I am not leading you into a new season so that you will carry every former accusation with you. I am teaching you to gather wisdom from the past and then lay it down, so your hands will be empty enough to receive something better. As this transformation continues, you will notice that things which once fascinated you no longer hold the same attraction. Conversations filled with negativity will exhaust you more quickly. Places that nourish only competition and pretense will no longer be able to keep you. And habits that once helped you avoid pain will gradually begin to feel confining. Do not panic when you no longer fit what is familiar. This is not always a loss. Sometimes it is evidence that you have outgrown the old mold. You do not need to return simply to preserve familiarity. An old road may have protected you during one season, but if you remain after the time has come to move, it will become a limitation. Be grateful for what once supported you, and then move courageously toward what is more suitable for your present growth. You will also see a change in the way you respond to others. Words that once kept you awake will no longer follow you for many days. People who once confused you will no longer be able to enter easily and disturb your peace. You will no longer feel obligated to answer every provocation, correct every misunderstanding, or remain engaged in conversations that produce nothing good. You are beginning to understand that silence can be a powerful choice, that leaving can be an act of self-respect, and that not every battle deserves your strength. This does not make you cold. It allows your kindness to be placed where it belongs. When you stop wasting love upon places that repeatedly refuse responsibility, you will have more capacity to support those who genuinely value you and know how to build with you. Circumstances that once made you feel trapped will also begin to open, though not necessarily in the form you expected. I may not lead you back to the old door, but instead guide you toward a road you never knew existed. The answer may not be the restoration of exactly what was lost, but the gift of something new, healthier, and more aligned with the person you are becoming. Do not limit restoration to a familiar form. Some things, if restored exactly as before, would only pull you back into an old cycle. I want you to receive not only opportunity, but also the discernment to preserve it, not only a relationship, but also the ability to build it through boundaries, honesty, and respect, not only resources, but also the discipline to use them for a sustainable future. In this season, you must learn how to trust change, even when it feels unfamiliar. Peace may confuse you if you have become accustomed to tension. A healthy relationship may make you suspicious if you have known only unstable connections. A transparent opportunity may cause hesitation if you once had to fight continually to be recognized. Do not return to chaos merely because chaos feels more familiar. You do not need old pain in order for your life to feel meaningful. Allow peace to become your new normal. Allow yourself to be loved without constantly proving your worth. And allow something good to remain without waiting for it to disappear. I also want you to understand that deep transformation is not found only in emotion. It must become visible through the way you live each day. The new person is not formed through grand declarations alone, but through keeping promises to yourself, completing responsibilities when no one is watching, caring for your health, managing your time, and refusing to return to habits that repeatedly weakened you. Every small choice is a stone placed into the new foundation. When you say no at the proper time, you are building self-respect. When you rest instead of pushing yourself toward exhaustion, you are learning to value life. When you choose truth, even when it is difficult, you are strengthening character. And when you remain steady while results have not yet appeared, you are proving that the change within you no longer depends upon temporary emotion. You may need to say goodbye to several former versions of yourself, the one who constantly feared being abandoned, the one who apologized for having needs, the one who believed suffering was the price of being recognized, and the one who thought it was your responsibility to rescue everyone. Allow those versions to rest. They helped you survive difficult seasons, but they do not need to lead your future. You are becoming someone who knows how to help without becoming empty. How to love without losing direction. How to be generous while preserving wisdom. And how to understand that your worth does not increase or decrease according to anyone's behavior. I, Michael, I am near you throughout this transformation to remind you that you do not need to become everything in one day. Be patient with the process. At times, you will move forward with great strength. And then, on another day, you may feel old fears returning. This does not mean you have failed. Growth is not a perfectly straight road that never trembles. It is the ability to recognize when you are losing direction and return more quickly. You may still cry, but you will no longer fall into the same despair. You may still feel fear, but you will no longer allow fear to keep you from moving. You may still face difficulty, but you will no longer define yourself as powerless. A day will come when you look back and realize that you no longer seek approval from places that once wounded you. You will hear yourself speaking words you once lacked the courage to say, entering doors that once made you tremble, and preserving peace before things that once could have caused you to collapse. You will barely recognize the person you once were. Not because you reject your past, but because you have traveled so far beyond the limitations that bound you. Continue forward. My beloved, what does not belong to you will fall from your hands without your forcing it. And what fits will find its place within your new life. This transformation is not making you a stranger to yourself. It is bringing you home to the truthful, discerning, and strong person you were always meant to become. I heard every question you kept hidden in silence, including the things you never possessed enough strength to speak aloud to anyone. I know how often you wondered whether your present circumstances would ever truly change, whether peace could return after months of a restless mind, and whether what you were waiting for was merely a distant hope. There were nights when you looked into the silence around you and believed your prayers had disappeared without leaving a trace. You wondered whether I was still near, whether I saw the exhaustion you concealed, and whether your quiet efforts were making any difference. But, my beloved, not one sincere thought of yours was forgotten. I heard every sigh you tried to suppress, saw every tear that fell when no one was near, and understood even the questions that had not yet become words. Silence cannot prevent me from knowing you, because I am nearer than temporary emotion can help you perceive. Now I am beginning to answer you in a deeper and broader way than you ever imagined. The answer may not appear in the exact form you expected, because many times you saw only one road while I knew that better paths were being prepared. You asked for circumstances to change immediately, while I began by changing the way you stood before those circumstances. You prayed to be released from the burden. But first I built within you a strength that prevented the burden from continuing to rule. You wanted one particular door to open, but I knew that entering too early would require you to make yourself smaller in order to be accepted. Therefore, my answer does not always resemble what you expected, but it always leads toward freedom, maturity, and lasting peace. When you look back, you will realize that I was never late. I was preparing an answer strong enough not to disappear after one brief moment of happiness. For this reason, remain fully present in this moment. Do not allow unnecessary noise to pull you back into the confusion that is being removed. Many things compete for your attention: opinions that cause you to doubt yourself, arguments that bring no clarity, dazzling promises, and the habit of continually looking at the lives of others and assuming that you have been left behind. I want you to become still, not to escape life, but to hear clearly what is being planted within you. What I place in you needs to be cared for through focus, just as a seed needs undisturbed ground in which to take root. If you continually dig it up to see whether it is growing, you will only interrupt the process. Give the new thing time to develop. Clarity rarely comes through noise. It appears when you become calm enough to recognize what continues, bringing peace after the first emotion has settled. You are entering a stage where understanding will gradually replace prolonged questions. Direction will appear where you once saw only mist, and strength will rise within the parts you once considered weakest. You do not need to force this process through impatience, nor must you chase every sign in fear of missing something. What I am building will be recognized through consistency. You will notice yourself responding more calmly to things that once made you lose control. You will know how to leave an unhealthy conversation without carrying anger. And you will no longer need everyone's agreement before making the right choice. This is clarity growing within you. It does not make you rigid. It helps you become gentler because you no longer have to live in constant self-defense. I know the full weight you carried, including the parts you hid because you feared others would not understand. There were responsibilities no one noticed, worries hidden behind an ordinary expression, and decisions you had to make alone without anyone beside you to guide you. I know the nights when your thoughts would not stop, when you considered every possibility, remembered every word, and wondered whether you had done something wrong. I also know the moments when your heart suddenly became heavy, even though no outward event had occurred, because former emotions were still searching for a way to heal. Do not condemn yourself for days like these. You are not weak because you sometimes become tired, nor have you lost faith because you once carried questions. Growth does not require you always to feel strong. It teaches you how to return to peace after every disturbance. Not one painful moment has been insignificant to me. I did not create suffering to punish you, but I can transform what you endured into wisdom, compassion, and discernment. The days that once made you feel shattered are teaching you how to recognize people who are truly safe. Disappointment is helping you stop giving trust too quickly to words unsupported by action. Lonely seasons are teaching you to stand without depending entirely upon recognition. What once caused you to question yourself will become the lesson showing you that worth does not change according to the way others behave. I do not waste pain, because I can use the very place where you once felt weak to build a deeper foundation for the future. Everything you endured is becoming material for what I am about to build. You may not yet see the complete shape of that work, but the foundation has been laid through every honest choice, every moment when you refused to surrender, and every time you kept your heart pure in adversity. When the new thing arrives, you will recognize how lessons that seem disconnected suddenly belong together. A former experience will help you handle a new responsibility. A skill you once underestimated will become a key that opens a way. A healed wound will teach you how to strengthen someone else without emptying yourself. No part of the journey has been wasted. Even unwanted detours protected you from what did not fit and led you closer to the person I am preparing you to become. However, while longing for a breakthrough, remain alert to promises of instant success. Some messages will claim that one ritual lasting only a few seconds, a secret technique, or a discovery supposedly connected to respected organizations can quickly remove financial pressure and lead you into a luxurious life. They may show images of dream houses, expensive cars, and glamorous vacations. Then pressure you to act immediately because the information is supposedly about to disappear. But, my beloved, truth does not need fear to force you into action. What is trustworthy is not afraid of examination, and a healthy opportunity does not require you to decide in panic. Do not let unsupported advertising exploit your exhaustion or your desire for a different life. I do not lead you into stability through illusion. I teach you to build through wisdom, honest work, discipline, and responsible choices. Financial improvement may begin with learning a new skill, managing what you already have more wisely, seeking trustworthy counsel, remaining faithful to your work, or recognizing a practical opportunity that has been near for a long time. These steps may not appear mysterious, but they create lasting results. Do not despise small progress. One wise decision today may protect you from months of pressure, and one consistent habit may change the direction of the years ahead. Blessing does not remove responsibility. It gives you wisdom to manage what is placed into your hands. My beloved, the answer to your silent questions is beginning with inner transformation and will gradually become visible through practical, outward changes. Keep your heart open without becoming naive, hopeful without rushing, and courageous while still willing to verify. You do not need to chase every promise in order to prove that you possess faith. Mature faith is revealed when you wait in peace, act through clarity, and refuse what attempts to exploit fear. I am leading you out of confusion, rebuilding the parts that became tired, and placing one stone after another into a more stable future. One day, you will look back at the silent nights and understand that I was never absent. It was there, when you believed nothing was changing, that I deepened the foundation, so what is about to be built can stand for a long time. When I say that I am providing for your life, that provision is not limited to money. It includes every strength, insight, and opportunity you need to step fully into the future prepared for you. My beloved, there were moments when you looked at your current circumstances and wondered where help would come from, how doors could possibly open, and whether you still had enough strength to continue. But you are measuring provision only through what your eyes can see. While my work often begins in deeper places, before a resource appears in your hands, I may give you an idea. Before an opportunity arrives, I may teach you a skill. Before a suitable person finds you, I may heal the fear that once prevented you from opening your heart. My care does not only meet an immediate need, it builds you into someone capable of preserving, developing, and using what is given with wisdom. When you become weak, I do not always remove every burden immediately, but I place within you enough strength to complete the next step. When you feel stuck, I may not give you the whole answer at once, but I plant a small idea in your mind, a new perspective, or timely counsel. When you believe every road has closed, I can still open a path you never considered. Do not overlook things that arrive simply. A brief conversation may lead you to a significant opportunity. One small decision may change the direction of many years. Someone you meet by apparent coincidence may carry the peace you have been waiting for. I am arranging people, timing, and circumstances with a precision that you cannot yet fully understand. Every small step you take through trust is being supported. even while you still doubt yourself. I know you sometimes believed that you were moving too slowly, that your effort had produced no result, and that others had traveled far while you remained in one familiar place. But you cannot see the changes occurring beneath the surface. Roots must grow deep before branches can rise high. Foundations must be strengthened before a great structure can be built. The days when nothing seemed to happen were the days when endurance, discernment, and maturity were being formed within you. I care not only about how quickly you obtain what you desire, I care about whether you are stable enough not to lose yourself when it arrives. There were times when you looked around and felt that everything was falling apart. Certain relationships changed. Plans in which you had placed great hope could no longer continue. And places where you believed you would remain for a long time suddenly became unfamiliar. You called these things losses. But often I was removing from your life what could not support the road ahead. A weak foundation may appear stable before it is required to carry great weight. But it will collapse when a greater responsibility is placed upon it. Therefore, I allowed certain things to be revealed, relationships to be tested, and former structures to come to an end. This was not to leave you empty, but to prevent you from building your future upon what lacked truth, stability, or constantly required you to sacrifice peace. I know that cleansing process confused you. You did not understand why the things you tried to preserve slipped from your hands, why a prayer seemed to be answered by a firmly closed door, or why I did not prevent changes that caused you pain. But some things, if allowed to remain, would occupy the space meant for something better. A room already filled with what is no longer needed cannot receive anything new. And a heart bound tightly to the past will struggle to recognize the future when it arrives. I do not remove things merely to leave you in lack. I am freeing you from burdens disguised as familiarity, so your hands no longer have to hold what has already completed its purpose. What you once called a setback may actually have been necessary adjustment. At times I led you backward so that you could recognize a lesson you had not yet understood, correct an immature choice, or recover strength you had invested in the wrong place. A change in direction does not mean the journey has failed. Some ships must move away from dangerous waters before continuing into the open sea. And some people must pause in order to understand where they are going. Therefore, do not feel ashamed of the seasons when you believed you were making no progress. Those pauses helped you recognize what truly matters, who is worthy of walking with you, and what within you needed healing before entering a new season. You are not late in life, even though the feeling can sometimes be convincing. I do not measure your journey through age, position, possessions, or the speed of someone else. Their road is not the standard used to determine your worth. Some people receive something early but need many years to learn how to manage it. Others move more slowly. Yet when they enter the right place, they carry the maturity required to build something lasting. I do not want you merely to receive what you prayed for. I want you to possess peace while holding it, discernment while making choices, and enough humility that what is entrusted does not become the reason you lose your way. Preparation does not make you fall behind. It protects you from entering great responsibility with a fragile foundation. Every lesson you endured is helping prepare you for the next level. Times when you managed with few resources taught you appreciation and stewardship. Days when you were misunderstood taught you not to depend entirely upon approval. Wrong choices taught you how to pause, reflect, and refuse to be led only by appearance. Waiting seasons helped you distinguish between temporary desire and what truly fits your future. None of this was wasted. I am using everything to form someone who not only knows how to receive, but is mature enough to preserve what is entrusted. When provision comes more fully, it will not overwhelm you. You will know when to move forward and when to wait. You will recognize the difference between a genuine opportunity and an invitation that is merely attractive on the surface. You will not rush to prove yourself through unwise decisions, nor allow former scarcity to make you seize everything that appears. I am preparing you to live in abundance without anxiety, to be generous while preserving boundaries, to enjoy without wasting, and to help others without neglecting responsibility for your own life. This is complete provision, not only possessing what you need, but also receiving the wisdom to use it according to its proper purpose. You asked many times how everything would happen, who would open the door, where resources would come from, and when change would truly begin. But I am inviting you to change the question from "How will this happen?" to "Who is leading me?" You do not need to see the entire journey before taking one step through faith. If you move only when every detail is guaranteed, you will remain outside the things that require courage. Trust does not mean denying reality or acting without wisdom. It means doing well what you can do today, while refusing to let what you cannot control steal your peace. You still need to prepare, learn, seek counsel, and act responsibly. But you do not need to carry the burden of arranging every outcome by yourself. Even while the present road remains uncertain, I am still directing each step. Sometimes you see only a short distance ahead because tomorrow's light will come after you complete today's step. I am placing you in the right environment, bringing you closer to suitable people, and clarifying what once caused confusion. Events may not unfold in the order you imagined, but that does not mean they are going wrong. Sometimes I must change your position before changing your circumstances. Sometimes I must renew the way you think before entrusting a new opportunity. And sometimes I must separate you from noise so that you become quiet enough to recognize the door that has been before you for a long time.